Between 60 to 80% of people avoid telling the details to their doctor that are relevant to their well-being. Are you one of those people? Let me know if you've ever avoided having a stressful conversation with your doctor.
Surgery is only one tool. It's time to add the other tools to the toolbox, because it's your body, your health, your life.
Hi, Carrie here. I help my VSG sisters overcome self-doubt and build those skills so that we can have more, do more, and be more. Today in this video, we're going to talk about how to have that difficult conversation, be it with your doctor, your bariatric surgeon, your nutritionist, really anyone. And if you stay tuned to the end, I'm going to give you a word-for-word example on what you can say to your actual doctor when you need to have that stressful conversation. There's an epidemic in our world right now, in all parts of our lives, where we avoid tough conversations. We avoid having conflict. The thing is, it's not really about avoiding, because stressful situations, stressful conversations, tough conversations need to happen, and conflict happens no matter what. It's just we have to learn how to navigate it and learn that skill. So just a little quick story about me and my doctor. I had a doctor for many, many years. I really liked her. I definitely liked her as a person. But it came to a point where I wanted a whole list of blood work done. And I was investigating some other treatments with other professionals in the health field. And I just wanted this baseline of blood work. I knew that my insurance wasn't going to cover some of it, but that was okay. I was willing to pay for it out of pocket. So when I had this conversation with my doctor, she gave me a lot of pushback, and she was like, no, you don't need this. No, you don't need that. I'm not going to authorize this. And I was really taken back to begin with. So what I did is I actually left that appointment. I went home. I did my research. I developed my questions. I practiced the conversation, and I made an appointment. And we had the difficult conversation. And I kind of will show you the script here. That is how I used it. But what ended up being is that she really had to agree with me. It was my body, my health, my life. So what is a crucial conversation? It really is when a conversation between two people, either the stakes are very high, the opinions may vary, or emotions are running strong, or it could be all three. It's important to ask, like, what kind of style do you typically have when you have a hard conversation with someone? Now, it's a spectrum. It doesn't mean you're either or, but where do you lie? Are you typically more silent, like you mask or avoid, or you kind of withdraw? Or are you more leaning towards a noisy style where you like to control, maybe even label, or maybe be a little aggressive and attack? What is the style that you typically lean towards? Now, why do we avoid having a difficult conversation? There's many reasons. Some of them are, we might have a desire to please. We're people pleasers. Our safety or comfort might be in jeopardy. We have a fear of the unknown. How's this conversation going to end? Sometimes there's just no sense of urgency to have the conversation. We don't fit in if it's with a group of people. A lot of us wait for that perfect moment or the perfect words. Some of us have a distrust of ourselves or others. Maybe sometimes we feel like we have a lack of authority. We can't really have that conversation. Or the conversation is in conflict with our beliefs or values. Or maybe we're just too darn tired to have the actual conversation. So is there a toll on us if we keep delaying having that stressful conversation? I'm here to say yes, there typically is. Usually, if we keep delaying it, we keep avoiding it, there's going to be a feeling of shame or guilt. Or we're just going to give up control. We're going to give up. Or we are going to feel like we don't live up to our principles, especially if it has something to do with that is super important to ourselves. Or we're going to experience negative consequences. And that could be physically or mentally or emotionally. So really before you have that difficult conversation, really try to get into the right mindset. And what do I mean by that? The biggest secret is you have to try to untangle yourself from the emotions. Really separate your feelings from the words you're about to have with that person. Now, otherwise, try to generally remain curious. be open-minded, remain curious. Don't be so tied to the outcome of what that conversation is going to be. And then try to find a common ground. And always, it's in our best interest to be honest and authentic and really be ourselves as much as we can as we're trying to think about having that stressful conversation with the other person. Now, remember, having a difficult conversation with your doctor or your surgeon, the big thing to remember is it is your body, it's your life, it's your health. You're actually the authority, not the doctor. Now, remember, doctors are human. They're just like you and I. They don't know everything about your situation, about your body, your life, and your health. They're there to guide you. And remember, it's a relationship, not a business transaction. And like I say in many of my videos, you're always asking for support, not for permission. And in my opinion, no matter if it's your doctor, your loved one, it is about you not settling. If you have lots of questions, you have the right, you have the obligation to yourself to ask those questions and get the answers. And if the person can't help you at that time, they need to be able to be open to you after the fact and try their best to get the answers that you need and that you are asking for. As anything, you want to prepare. You want to prepare for that tough conversation that you're going to have. And part of that is taking some time to understand what is your philosophy of care and what do you think the doctor's philosophy of care is, and do they align? So what do I mean by that is, do they lean more to the traditional medical model, or are they open to more of an alternative philosophy of care? And what is your philosophy of care? You just want to make sure that you give it some thought, think about and do those two align. Then what are your expectations? What are your expectations of having this conversation? And try to step into the shoes of the other person. What do you think their expectations are going to be? It's really important to really define the problem. Have the problem defined for yourself and for the doctor before you walk into that appointment. It's really important to look at and what you can brainstorm the behaviors that you're going to need to actually find a solution to that problem. Then have your questions prepared. Prepare them beforehand. If you want, send them before so that the doctor is prepared, so that you can maximize the time with them. And when you're going to have that difficult conversation, you're both on the same page. And then ask if you can have someone with you. It's, when you're having a difficult conversation, it can be super hard to remember everything in the moment. So maybe it's worth having someone with you. Now, I'm not saying that person should speak for you. They should be there to listen, to be that second ear, maybe a little bit of a mediator, but that's not their role. Their role is just to be that second ear to help you keep everything that you're having that difficult conversation with that person in check. So before we get into the actual example that I promised, my question to you is, do you ask for permission or do you ask for support? So think about that. When you're having a conversation, be it with someone of authority, a lot of times we feel our doctors are authority experts. Do you find yourselves asking permission or do you ask for support? Let me know in the comments below. So as promised, here is a word-for-word conversation example that you can use in your situation. Grab a piece of paper or stop the video and jot some of these things down and use this as an example to tweak maybe that difficult conversation that you are having with your doctor. So let's say that maybe there was something happened, your doctor gave you a treatment, you weren't exactly sure about that. You had some concerns, some issues about it. And now you want to have that kind of stressful, difficult, tough conversation back with them. So here's kind of an example that you may use. So first of all, step one, explain the presenting problem in a concise statement. So what does that might look like? So you can say to them, thank you for seeing me and discussing my questions about the treatment. The reason I wanted to visit you today is I've done some of my research on my own, and I've identified the pros and cons of this treatment. I would like to spend this time reviewing both with you and get your thoughts on them. So just present the problem in a very concise statement. Step 2, explain the tentative outcome you are after. So it might look like this. In case there's some confusion, doctor, I just wanted to make sure that you know it is my expectation to look at the whole picture and weigh the risks and the benefits before I make an actual decision. So you're explaining the outcome that you're seeking. Step 3, explain the specific behaviors you are seeking. So it might sound like this. I expect you to listen and have an open mind as someone who wants to ensure I am getting the best care possible. I also want you to have time to add to the research I've done. And if you feel that is important, I also need you to understand that it is my decision to move forward with the treatment. So you're just explaining the specific behaviors you're seeking from them and what you're going to do as well. Step 4, explain the knowledge, skills, dispositions, or attitudes to meet the desired outcome. I want you to be aware of the impact of this treatment will have on me and my family. I do recognize and appreciate your professional role. Not only can I benefit from your support in having this conversation, but you have the skills and knowledge to contribute that I believe I can also benefit from. I trust you will do your due diligence by listening to my concerns, review the information I have, and contact any colleagues, if need be, to ask their professional opinion. So what are you doing here? You are explaining to them that the treatment that they are offering will have impact on you and your family. So, they need to understand the full picture, and that you recognize their role, that you will benefit from their expertise, of course, but you're also asking them that you want them to do their due diligence by listening to your concerns, reviewing the information you just gave them, and then digging deeper if that needs to be contacting further colleagues. You're just explaining that you're expecting them to do what they need to do to bring back to you the information that you are seeking. Step 5, describe the strategies that could promote moving forward the difficult conversation. So what do I mean by that? So it could look like this. Just to make sure we are clear, here's the information resources I'm referring to. Is there anything you might need to make sure the conversation and treatment suggested is relevant and helpful to me and helpful for you to explain? So what does this statement say? It's saying that, here, you're trying to be super clear with the doctor. Here's the information that you're referring to. You're going to provide them the information, be it digital or, hard copy. And then you're asking them, is there anything more that they need so that you can continue this conversation so that it's helpful for you and also helpful for them to explain to you? Step 6, describe any additional resources or tasks to be provided for a successful outcome. So once again, you're going to say, here's a book or research studies, whatever that is, that information that you have. Here's the book, research studies that many other doctors have found helpful on the topic. Do we need to schedule another appointment to continue this conversation? Is there more I need to learn about this treatment? And do you need time to develop your thoughts? So this statement is trying to get at, once again, here's the information. There's other doctors, other experts out there that have information on it as well. So it's showing the doctor that you've done your due diligence. And then you're asking, do they need another appointment? It's okay to schedule another appointment to continue the conversation. And you're kind of stating very clearly is there more work that you need to do? And that do they have the time to help you, help them develop their thoughts to help you? Conclude by asking questions. They might be a little different depending on your situation, but they could look like this. How do you see this issue? Is this something you're willing to address? Are there alternative treatments? Would you be willing to work with me on getting a second opinion? What are your reactions to the information I've provided? And then you want to restate your expectation. So, doc, it is my expectation that you will be a positive contributor. Thank you for working on this. I'm confident you will be a great support and that I'll be able to depend on you. Thanks for seeing me, as this was a very tough conversation to have with you. How do you see us moving forward? So you're just asking some questions. You're concluding to try to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Then you're going to restate your expectation, whatever that is. Thank them. Let them know it was a tough conversation, and then ask, how do you see them, moving forward, so that once again, you're on the same page. As I mentioned, it's very super important to know how to have a difficult conversation with your doctor. If not, it could lead to no treatment, maybe mistreatment, or even in some of our situations, it could be a life or death situation. Thank you again for watching this video. If you found value, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, do all the things. Let me know if there's any other skills that you would like me to do a video on. And then lastly, let me know, are you a little bit more prepared to have that difficult conversation? Remember, courage is on the other side of action. Don't avoid, don't mask, just get through it. You got it. Okay, take care, everybody.